Awesome. Well, Drake Van Hul with Performance Financial. We got a good friend here, Zach Vander Ploeg, owner of Rodan Cleaning. Zach, tell us what you got going on.
Yeah, so I'm Zach Vander Ploeg, owner of Rodan Cleaning here in the Des Moines metro area. We do commercial cleaning and janitorial. So main thing you kind of think of is nights and weekends we go into office spaces and clean up empty trash, get the bathrooms fresh, ready for the next day of work.
We started working with you a little less than 2 years ago. You buy the business from your dad. He's doing the accounting. We don't really know what to value it. How does this work family relationship wise? Tee us up what this has kind of looked like for you over the past about 2 years.
Yeah, so like you said, buying from my dad, he was doing kind of the accounting himself. And one of the biggest areas in that is just kind of to assess what accounts are doing well and which ones are not. It wasn't necessarily broken down as far as that. So you could see how the company is doing as a whole, but I knew there were accounts that could be raised where they needed to be. Over the 25 years he owned it, expenses went up, but the rates weren't always he wasn't always bumping up the rates. So trying to really assess how can we grow this company more just with the accounts we already have.
Right. We're doing the same thing with your real estate holdings. So Zach, you had a bunch of real estate before coming and buying this business from your dad, really trying to take a deeper dive into what that profitability looks like for those properties so we can figure out, is this a good use of our cash? This is a common scenario we run into with a lot of these new businesses where they come in, they've got some data there. And we're trying to, I call it peeling back that first layer of the onion. The first layer is we've got some books and a balance sheet and some basic information. That second level is how do we interpret this data? How do we make it give us better insight to make management decisions off of? That's where we've really stepped in and kind of separated ourselves from the weekend accounting class that somebody takes on YouTube University or, that somebody that's not really a professional that works with these. These are the things we're doing to separate ourselves and really, frankly, give you better insight into your business. So since we met, we talked a little bit about figuring out what accounts have been helpful and which ones we need to look at growing. What's been the most helpful as you've met with us and worked with us over the last 2 years?
Yeah, I would say one of the most helpful things has just been being able to create a budget. So we know what are our fixed expenses, what are we going to take on as we grow, which has been helpful, not only just knowing what I can spend on different areas of marketing, on supplies, ad spend, all that stuff. But also when I go to quote a job, I already know what are my margins needing to be for me to actually make money on this and how can I increase that.
What have you appreciated about the service team? Love to hear some more on that.
Yeah, no, it's been very helpful. It's not just you. It's not just a weekend accountant doing the work, but you have a team around you. It's very helpful to get the reminder emails. As a business owner, I tend to procrastinate. So especially when tax season rolls around, I have to find all these different forms on. It takes time. So being able to get those reminder emails, and anytime I have a question, if I need a question about what is this form, I'm able to reach out. It's not, you might be in a meeting, but I'm still able to get someone on your team who's able to follow up quickly and get that accomplished. And then just the reminder emails about, hey, we saw you spent this and we can't quite figure out what it was. What is that for? So it can get categorized. Right. So it's able to be accounted for. Yeah, I've just really appreciated the customer service I get from you and your team. And you can tell that you're creating a vision with your team that customer service is important and it's something that sets you apart.
If you were talking with another small business owner about our services, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say if you want to make money and you know where your money's being spent, go to Drake.
So one thing we've done for you guys and what I really enjoy is Zach and I would meet on a monthly basis. We do all their internal bookkeeping. And where I look at our relationship is the bookkeeping and the tax are the foundation levels. It's really our strategy meetings where we come in, and I always joke, but it's the reality. These meetings are very practical on the front edge where it's like, here's the numbers, here's tax planning, here's this. And then the back half is therapy where it's like, hey, we think we can get to this. What does that look like? And so share me kind of your thoughts. I know that's something we do, and we usually like to have a glass of whiskey while we do it. But share kind of what your experience has been with that.
Yeah, I think it's been very helpful, especially starting the company. I took it from my dad. He had QuickBooks that he had kind of been doing more or less over the 25 years he was running it. So he gave me access to this QuickBooks account, and it was somewhat clean, probably more clean than the average cell phone business guy was doing. But there was just the process of getting that cleaned up and making sure that we were able to specify the expenses. Another hard part about just being an entrepreneur is you have no one to be accountable for, except maybe your wife.
Yep.
But
spot on.
There's a lot of expenses that I could just be paying out and paying out and paying out and paying out, and there's no one to come knocking to say, hey, you need to slow down on this money. So really from the very beginning, setting out a budget that you helped me set up, and we were able to see, okay, on average, this is our margin. This is what we need to spend on the chemicals, the payroll, all that stuff. Just really having a good breakdown as to this is what your fixed expenses are already going to be here. Right. Now, let's say you want to do marketing. Let's say you want to go do some ads. Let's say you want to go buy new equipment or buy a vehicle. Being able to know those numbers ahead of time and work towards that has been really helpful. And then every month, because we are a very fluid industry, there's times I get a random construction cleaning. Maybe it's $5,000. Maybe I get another job. There's a fluidity in the income. So being able to sit down once a month and say, okay, hey, I have an extra $5,000 coming in. What do I do with that? Is that something that I need to be planning for taxes? Is that something that we can utilize over here? Has been really helpful just to have that.
Yeah, for sure. You start this business, we jump in. I think before you even purchased it, we had sat down and talked, kind of worked through what does purchase agreement look like? Got QuickBooks set up. We've done tax prep. We do our planning meetings. Talk to us. What's really going well?
Yeah, I would say, especially being a business owner, it's hard to, I have my hat in, or multiple hats on. I have myself involved in many different areas. And generally one that can fall off is just the budgeting, the accounting side. I really need to make sure if I'm running a business, I'm making money. That's the point of it. And so to have a group that's able to do that on the back end, they're able to have access to my bank account and make sure everything's getting accounted for, has been very helpful. Another huge help has been being able to look at each cleaning account and see which ones are actually making money.
Right.
Over the years, my dad was able to raise some rates, but he also didn't raise maybe how he should have. But then employees come and say, I want more money, I want more money, I want more money. So we have to break it down by account. We have to say, okay, AYZ dentist is losing $20 a month, not just as a whole, but being able to break it down into each individual account. So now I know this is an account I need to go deal with. Either we need to raise rates or just drop them because I'm not making money on them. So that's been probably the most helpful one to be able to break that down. And that's the same with the real estate side, which you also help out with, is being able to say, property A is actually making money where property B is losing money. Right. Now I know if I have an asset or if I have a liability.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you can figure out, is this a good use? Do we think there's long-term growth here? Or are we going to run into a place where we've got $100,000 tied up into this? Let's get out of it and put that capital to work somewhere else to be the most efficient in our investment. So this is a common piece we hear a lot, where they come in and they're really starting to grow their business, or they have real estate in their portfolio, but they're missing these pieces. We do this all the time. This is something we really help. I call it peeling the second layer back of the onion. The first layer is just we need books and we need numbers to make some sense. The second layer is let's dive deeper to actually understand who are our profitable customers. Do we have, is our capital efficient inside of our investment properties? Are we making money on these projects? We do this all the time. We can do this, one, through just good processes of gathering that information, but two, segmenting it up inside of your accounting system. We're just started doing this with the rental properties for you guys, is breaking out these properties individually so that we can track this stuff better. This is stuff we do consistently for clients, and really is that next level of detail and data inside of their business to really help understand what's taking place, but also being able to cut out the bad apples and expand on what's really efficient and working well. And really to contrast that, I mean, a lot of businesses start out with where they jump in QuickBooks themselves and they watch a YouTube video on how to reconcile. And those are great. But again, that is that base level. You don't know if you're doing things wrong. You don't know, are we actually getting the data we need? We're going to be able to easily do the debits and credits of the accounting side, but it's really taking that data to the next step to get you the best information to make decisions with. I always say our goal here isn't to just say, do this. It's to help better educate you, the client, to make the best decisions possible. And so our goal is, here's all the data, here's what we think about it, here are pros and cons, and help you make the best decisions you can make.
I think just being able to make sure I let you know I really appreciate the team,
Awesome.
Not just you, but the important people on the team who do the back end as well, making sure that my books are always clean, making sure that things get followed up on. Another big helpful thing is, as a business owner, I'm very good at procrastinating. And so your team is very good about making sure they have the information they need. Taxes we don't want to do later than we're supposed to. So making sure that they're always leading up to that. They say, hey, you got 3 months, you got 2 months, you got 1 month. We need this, we need this, we need this. Has been very helpful to just have someone to remind me to get that stuff accomplished.
Awesome. Wow. We appreciate your business.
Yeah.
Been a great client, and one of the great scenarios of where a client turns into a close friend. So really appreciate working with you.
Been fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah.